Right. So within the unit we have these, these basket filters, easy to service. Inside the hopper, if you look inside, you see kind of like the back corner where the comes in. So anything that's floating around here, you have a sediment tank here. Okay. You have the hydrocarbon absorber there inside the tank below. And then we have
what is that?
It absorbs any oil, hydrocarbon fuel, even phosphates, which are in fertilizers, phosphates and all. So all that is going to be part of the system here. You got double drains on the bottom of the copper, so it's easy to clean and flush out.
And so those two holes there, where do they go?
They're going off to the side of that drain over here.
And that's controlled by a valve?
Yeah, this is all there.
So that's just anything that how you got sucked into the...
Right, the heavy sand, debris, anything that's...
So when you turn that on, with water?
Yeah, we would just run a hose in there. Flush. You can either power wash the gun without a knob or just run the hose in there. Maybe have it all out. Clean it out, flush it out.
Where does that work?
Right here. And from this point we have the drain from the side back here. That's got a black tank in there. It's a propane tank. Josh, and
Alright, say that again. What's this one?
this one's your drain from the black tank. I'll show you that here. You see it, it's easier to know where it's coming from. So they just run through the trailer itself, and then
Okay, so that's from...
right, and this is a cone-shaped tank.
Okay.
There's a discharge hose on the bottom of that tank. And they used to just, we had a valve there that would just drain into like a 4-foot width. Now you can tell that now we have a lot more sediment and fill that hose and fill this tank.
And how often do you drain all that?
Daily.
Daily.
Yeah, you got...
And how do you do this one? That one's quite easy. How do you do...
Well, you would open that valve on the top.
Okay.
Just open that valve, that'll drain this. Once you drain this...
As it's running?
No, if you drain it while it's running, the vacuum will keep the water in there.
Okay.
So what you're doing is basically, once you clean it out and drain it through that valve, you can take a garden hose and rinse it out over here. If you look up in here, let's see how we already picked up some debris.
Yep.
To the tank. This is drain on the bottom of the white drain.
Yep.
You see this over here on the side, the black one? That's the suction for the transfer pump. So anything below that black port is where the sand and debris will fill up, but you can see it's not a big area.
Right.
So by us extending that all over the back of the trailer, we've added a large.
So you just open, so it's free flow.
Right, it'll free flow there. If you're driving, it's settling, it's working its way back. Once you open it, you flush it, keep it clean. See this white hose out here? With a black one below it?
Yep.
The black one is designed to kick your transfer pump on with the 12 volt. Once the tank is about 3/4 foot. The white one actually turns it off, the vacuum on, so you're not able to flow. Say you forgot to turn your transfer pump on, or you plugged it. I've had a guy do 225 beds one. 250 in the middle of the night at a wood company. You forgot about draining it. Meanwhile, you just went through a whole load of starter cans basically that night, and by plugging up the hole with debris, it didn't transfer anymore. So, bottom line was that once he drained the tank out, it kicked right back out. I think he did need to replace the 50 micron filter on that. We can clean that up later. What's your head? These are these little latches like on vehicle trucks, So here's your vacuum line. Like I said, I can pull this off easy enough with the 100 foot on.
Okay.
I want to go through this with the engine off and everything, and then we'll fire it up.
Yep.
We'll run it. We'll go over it.
Okay.
We'll do whatever it takes. You say all day tomorrow if you're not comfortable. Yeah, whatever it takes. So, so after it goes from the hopper, trash bin hopper on the back,
Yep.
up through here, through this recycling tank, then it goes to, the transfer pump is behind here, that's with that black port within the tank, comes up inside the inlet of the filter cartridges. This is a 50 micron, 20 micron, comes out this discharge line, and it actually will go right to the top of the water tank, which is the wastewater tank there, which is right down that tank there. And this is another kind of maintenance filter. You have, so you got a 5 micron back filter, but that's the other filter that's in there. Now that can get heavy, that material, and they have ripped the ski bumps bouncing around with 40 pounds of debris or whatever. So what you want to do there is clean that out. There's a little ring around there, you just pull the ring down over the cover and put it back in. You can clean and flush it out. They're not expensive, so you can easily replace them if you need to. And then this is a float assembly here for the hydrochloric system. It will not kick on unless the tank's about 3/4 full. That way it just doesn't walk too dry. So you can have the switch on, it can auto recycle if need be. So, and this is your supply line from the garden hose, the bypass line back from the pressure washer itself. This is your recycle line from this tank here.
Right.
So, you drop down. All right. So your recovery tank on the left with that bag filter, your supply line, your bypass, and that. What's important about that bypass line up here, which is that smaller line, this one. Any pressure washer that's under pressure, you can take cold water that's 45 degrees out, like today, to a cold water pressure washer, start the engine, pull the trigger on the gun once, lay the gun on the ground, walk away for 5 minutes, come back, your pump will be melted. Ooh. It's heated compression. Anything hydraulics or whatever gets hot. Same with a pressure washer pump. What they'll do is they'll put a bypass line back to the water filter, keep it short and sweet. That's what gets cooked. That's what boils and cooks the pump. Our unit actually has the bypass from the regulator that controls your pressure back to the supply tank. Only cold water is going back to the tank. So say you had a, I'll show you the valve over here while we're talking about it. Say you had a community that you had every 5th house to do, then 10 houses away another one, or just houses door to door. What you can do with our system here, with this unloader valve here, and this what we call a cool bypass line, you could actually run and operate the unit without overheating the pump, because you're circulating that water now back to a 270 gallon supply tank. So it's cool bypass. Know that because there's another bypass valve that confuses people here in a few minutes, which we'll go over a couple times to make sure you understand why we did it and how we did it. Okay, so typically this control valve assembly is unique. It has a fitting here that allows you to break it free pretty easily, so the whole assembly can come off the frame. This is your pressure switch for the heater. No pressure, no heat.
Okay.
So we just had a question from somebody that was out there and he fired up the pressure washer with a client, turned the burner on and like, hey, it's not igniting. Well, it won't, because that could create a steam explosion. So without pressure, no heat, no flow, no heat. There's a high limit switch in the outlet here. So if it's too hot, it's designed to shut off too. I have a video of a steam explosion on my YouTube channel. I can show it to you. It's pretty intense. I mean, if this thing blew off, we'd we might actually die or somebody's gonna get hurt. All of us will be in the hospital. It looks like a couple sticks of dynamite inside of the heating coil. So basically, that's why we overkill. There's some people just put a flow switch just to save a ton of money. We do the opposite. We'll end up with the pressure switch, flow switch, which is here. It senses that there's flow going through the pump in the heating coil. Then this wire here coming down goes to your adjustable thermostat. And there's a probe that sticks in over here that senses the temperature. And this is your dual outlet. So you have dual gun capability on this machine, so it'll run at full 3509 or 3500 PSI at 4.5 to 2 people. When you run 2 people, it kind of is like gum removal. I call it the weed whackers. You don't want 2 surface cleaners running.
Right.
Because once you cut the flow in half, you lose your speed. Or I put it this way, when you double your flow, like going from 4.5 times 2 to 9 gallons to 1 guy, it's almost quadrupling your speed, or right around that. It's triple to quadruple the speed. It's insane the amount of speed. That's when we could do a 1,500 square foot paver driveway in 7 minutes. It would take, if you split it in half, it would probably take an hour between the two total labor. So the speed, it's like you don't jump off a 72-inch riding tractor mowing 8 acres of land to push 236-inch walk behind mowers around. It just doesn't equal. Let me see what I'm missing here. We covered all that. Now here's your winterizing tank. So when you do need to winterize it, you put it in that position for winterizing. This goes to your water filter for your pressure washer over here before you pump. So that is actually where you know it's ready to go. Right now we're not winterizing. We're going to run it right back to that supply tank. Supply tank's got water, so we're good to fire it up. At this stage, don't forget a spare gun and wire. Is that over there? You want to make sure your couplings are on, or you always have a gun, or you can have a ball valve on these, hose reel for the gun assembly. Because water will come out through both reels. If you don't plug it, it's going to go out the reel that's open. So like I said, this hose will go to the water supply, your bib at the house or warehouse. Going to set this up kind of here. These get kind of important when it comes to this. What we want to do when we start the engine, we already checked the pump and engine oil on the last video, so we know we're good. We got fuel, we know we're good to go. What we want to do is have this bypass valve. This is a high pressure bypass valve. Strictly used to start the engine, which means never run this for more than a minute open, because hot water will pump through here and go back to the supply tank, and you don't want hot water in your supply tank. The other time you can utilize this is when I turn the burner off at the end of the day, hours of demo. You can use this valve if you like to cool off the pump. Once again, only about a minute or a minute and a half max. With a burner off and you open a valve, it will then cool down. I've had people mistakenly leave this open house to house to house down in 110 degrees weather down in Texas, and they created issues where they lose seals and O-rings and other problems. Because you don't want to, you already got one of the best hot water heaters in the planet. You don't need 180 degrees going into your pump and into your heater again. So bottom line, 99% of the time this is off.
Okay.
Very important to remember. I know you guys got it. If you got a helper or worker, make sure they don't leave this open house to house. It automatically is in cool bypass mode. You can go 5 minutes or so without damaging the pump as long as there's water in the tank. So this is strictly start and stop.
Okay.
I'm going to leave this open right now. All my valves are down for the plumbing valves. It's either, like I said, if you want to go out to Walmart tonight with 540 gallons of fresh water, you can open both of these valves and join the two tanks together. Now you're going out there with 540 gallons. Traditionally, when you're doing this type of cleaning, you do that. That'll be empty, your supply tank will be full. And we're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll start the engine.
Okay.
We'll leave the valve open here, we'll leave the camera here. From this, we'll turn the burner on, the thermostat, we'll set it for like 200. Then we'll go turn the recycling systems on. And then we'll come back, once I shut this valve off, this is still gonna be cold because unless you have pressure, you're not gonna have heat. So once we cut that off, it's still gonna have, it's not gonna kick on automatically because it's no more flow. We have to literally get a cleaning head open or something to start it. So since we are gonna be doing trash carts, it'd be a good idea to load the carts in first.
Yeah.
Is there a couple carts here?
Yep.
What we'll do with the pig tail here, what we call pendant, lower it, basically down.
And then open. And then close on up. It is magnetic, so you can stick it to anything other than the hot surface.
Smaller parts in the area, we would recommend they have both as closed initially, and then the auto adjust to the proper side. So open the lid, if you open it, open the lid. Now you can go up. Here's the speed control on this, so right now it's kind of the perfect up-down speed. Now we're ready to go, so we can start the machine. What we'll do first is get the machine hot. We'll run the cleaning head for about a minute. You'll start to see steam coming off. Then we'll do the other head and the other one. Normally you'll get down to the 30 seconds clean right after. So my head is open, water is good, I'll pump the water good. You don't want to throw too much. I don't